Hi, we are Adam
and Gloria,
and together we purchased a 1985 Mercedes 300 GD for the sole purpose of traveling around the world. We'd like to invite you to follow us along as we build, travel, and explore this wonderful world we live in. This is Vintage G Overland.
Well, how's it going, everybody? Like when you own a business, everybody else's projects get done, but yours kind of just fall by the wayside. Well, that's kind of what happened. I got a bunch of stuff in, meant to make a video, and time just got away from me. And I got sick with food poisoning for a couple days over Easter, and wound up doing a bunch of vapor blasting parts, which I have up here on my floor. And then old work colleague needed his Kawasaki 125 motor split and rebuilt. So I've been doing everybody else's projects and not my own. So now it's Friday. I am going to focus on getting this thing back together as far as I can. I'm still waiting on one seal over here that's coming from Latvia. So you win some, you lose some with buying European parts, but it'll be here eventually. And I've got 4x4 Club working diligently to get me all the parts that I need. So he's been pretty good to me so far. But yeah, basically here's the plan. So we're going to get the caps on, so the swivel housings and everything on both ends. We're gonna get the axle things in the middle. We're gonna get those in, but we're not gonna put the diff in yet because we're still waiting on that seal. So as soon as I get that seal, then I can do that. But the goal is to get this thing back under the truck so that we can move it to the shop, and then I'll be able to kind of work on it a little more. It'll have its own little corner for me to work on and everything. So really looking forward to that. All right, so today we're going to show you how to install your bearings and seals on your G-Wagon swivel housing. This is for W460s, some early 463s. So basically how to get the races out for the inner and outer, and how to properly install those seals. So this is basically how I get these out of here. I've done this a few times on these. You don't really need any special tools, but if you have the special tools for it, it certainly helps. But anybody could do this at home in their garage without heat, without anything. So let me show you how I do it. Basically, I use a very thick flathead screwdriver and a mallet. This one happens to be made out of lead. If you have a lead hammer, don't touch this. It's not good for your health. So find that lip with the bearing on the other side. So here's the original race that's stuck in there, and we want to get that out. And how we do that, just find the edge. We're just gonna start, just do it once. There we go. Now it's getting in, and then try and go around. And it is a very small surface that you're trying to get to. So if you can't quite get to it, try and get it at an angle. And just go around it nice and easy. So now you can see that gap kind of starting to form down in the bottom. So that means that it's starting to come out, and we're just going to keep working that. But there we go. And just like that, you got your part out. Now you just repeat the same process with this side. Now we're getting that gap. There you go. So now we're going to clean up this, and I'm just going to take a very fine Scotch paper and just go around that just to deburr it. That doesn't take off any material, but it does get rid of all of the sealants and the things that were used to get into that. All right, so now we're ready to install our bearing races first. Now what we'll do is we'll take these races off of the bearing, put the race in first, get it seated nicely, and then we can pack the bearing, install the bearing, and then put the new seals in. Now, however you do this, some of these, the outer bearing at least, will go on the shaft of the wheel hub, but the rest of it, you can do it however you like. I like to put the bearings in first because that way when I go to slide the shaft in, it's already in there and I don't have to worry about it. But this kit comes from 4x4 Club. This is for your left or right wheels, and includes both inner and outer bearing, inner and outer seal, your wheel hub lock key, and then the felt that goes on the inside of the wheel hub, and I'll show you where that goes after this. So this does require a little bit of patience, and what we're gonna do is just kind of firmly press this in just to get it kind of started. And then I'm gonna take a little socket and use the back end to just kind of lightly tap around the edge. And the reason why I do that is so that I get nice even motion as it works its way down. And then on this flat edge, I know that I'm not going to overstep or push it in too far. So it'll automatically stop when I am at where it's supposed to be. So we still need to pack this bearing, but we'll do the other race first. Just for good measure, I'm going to use this white rag. This is a non-lint roll, so you can use this to clean up stuff. A lot of guys like to use these for paint. So just clean up that bit of mess around there. That way, when we go to put our seal in, we've got a nice clean surface. We'll flip that over and do the other side as well. So now we're gonna do something a little bit more messy. And what that is we're going to pack these bearings. Now I don't have a bearing packer at my house, I do at the shop. So I'm just gonna do it the old-fashioned way and use my hands. I'm using this red and tacky. Used to use these a lot on trailer wheels and stuff. This works great. And so what we're gonna do is, with the grease in our hand, in the palm of our hand, we're basically just gonna scrape the bearing in my hand. And what we're looking for as we're doing this, you want to see grease come up through the bearings, and that means that it's getting pushed all the way through. So we just got to complete that task for the entire bearing. Now for the next one. All right, so now we're going to install the seal, at least the inner seal. So this one can be kind of tricky, mostly because of how large it is, and most people don't have a socket, but what you can use is your old outer bearing race. It's right over the spot where you need it to. So we'll try that, and then we'll take this piece. This is just something off of a Euro motorcycle. I'm just using that to basically spread the weight out evenly, and then I'll tap everything down. Quite work the way I wanted it to. Pull that back out here. It's a very awkward angle to get at. Now for the front. Well, definitely not the prettiest way to get it on, but it's on. So this is the wheel hub. Now this thing has seen some better days for sure. I would buy a new one. I might buy a new one, but these are like $500. So I'm just gonna roll with it for now, and then I might just replace it later on down the line. But inside here, you see this little crack right there. That is basically a little felt dust seal that goes in there, and oftentimes these get weathered and crack and get destroyed, and so you gotta pull them up. Just like that. And it just literally falls apart. It's just made out of felt. But what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna put this in my vapor blast cabinet and try and clean up as much of this as I can. It's obviously not in the best shape. It's seen some dry bearing spinning in the past, so I'll save what I can on it. And if it doesn't work, I'll just buy a new one. So I have a big socket, put that over the top, and I'm gonna lightly tap it. Yep. She's all the way home. So before I go putting this beautiful piece back onto the axle, I forgot to take care of these. So next week, I'm gonna take these to the shop. I'll clean these up, powder coat these, and then put the rest of the axle back together. And we could probably move it out to the shop finally.